So, like, what would you say would be the bit that kind of where, have you ever been in a position where kind of moving towards, well, actually, what's been the scariest part for you, like, in terms of, as a doctor, like, you know, like those moments, because I know that ADHD overwhelms the thing, and, you know, like, I know that you've experienced it in the past. Like, what was kind of like the most difficult thing that you had to kind of overcome in order, I don't want to sound like all corporate and be like, what's your greatest challenge? But also, I want to hear about like the worst patient as well, or one where your ADHD interfered with your job in any way, or you know, how do you get? Actually, no, sorry. Let's ask
one question at a time.
It's okay. I'm understanding this.
How do you mitigate your ADHD when it comes to sort of do you ever notice that your symptoms are kicking in and you're like, okay, right now I've got to mitigate that?
Yeah.
Because otherwise it could, you know, like.
So when I was going through getting my diagnosis after I'd seen the psychologist and was waiting for my psychiatry sort of diagnosis, one of the consultants in my hospital who, you know, he works too hard.
You can name him,
No, he works too hard, and he can be a bit scary, but he can also be nice. But I remember him taking me aside and saying, right, I've spent a few months with you and I've seen you beat yourself up, be frustrated with yourself about certain things, and now we know what's like behind that. And he said, the advice I'm going to give you is I want you to be kind to yourself. I want you to be compassionate with yourself. And I think that's one of the bit. It's really hard to do, but that's probably been one of the best things that's come from this diagnosis, is having that advice. I'm not the best at listening to myself,
especially because it came from him and like someone who's like, you know, who's like a bit harder, and now he's got a bit of a soft spot for you.
He's very sweet, and you know, he was never then, it wasn't like he was then easy on me because of it. He was just like, I just need you to be kind to yourself. And sometimes I forget that, and then but most of the time I try to, and I think we all forget that
sometimes. Like, if somebody outside of you was to say some of the negative things that we say to ourselves, we wouldn't talk to that person. We wouldn't allow somebody to say those negative things.
I have to remind myself, would I tell my best friend this? No.
And I'm like, sometimes I have to tell myself, it's like, you know, like, stop, you have to look at yourself in the third person and be like, stop bullying my friend. And it's like, you know, like, because if it's like you said, I mean, like, you know, like, if someone was to say something like that to you, like some of the things you say yourself, and I remember like when you and I had a very long conversation over the summer, because we were both having a tough time like last year, and like then we were talking for about 3 days. Obviously it was off record and we're not really going to discuss that much of it, but might do another episode, I don't know. But like, you know, like, but it was like, I think at one point I said to you, it was like, oi, stop bullying my fucking friend. And that was it, because it was like, you know, because I think that particularly when you've been undermined in a way, like, you know, your career or your love life or something that you hold a lot of pride and stake in, and then it goes tits up, and no one else will take responsibility for anything, even though it will be their words, their mouth, you know, like they will have bullied you or whatever. No one wants to admit that they're a bully or that anything like that, but it will fuck you up. I mean, I know that I was made redundant recently, and you know, the confusion that came around that, and I don't hate the person who made me redundant, but you know, her attitude didn't have to change when she was being all corporate and polite versus the sarcastic bullshit and rolling her eyes before. You know, like, and she was really hot as well.
Like, you have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
She can't get over that.
My girlfriend's hotter, it's fine. It's okay, yeah.
Good, that goes on record.
I'm in a secure relationship.
Good.
I've got a piece of advice for you.
Well, me?
You're blind to all women. Once you're with somebody, you're blind to all women.
But that tends to happen.
My wife does that to me sometimes. She's like, oh, you think that girl's pretty? I'm like,
that's a trap.
What girl?
Well done.
The trap.
Good work.